All right, let's bring in America's accountant Dan Geltrude for more on this. Dan, always great to have you on the show. These numbers, they may seem like small numbers, but when you extrapolate it out for the entire country every time they make a purchase, those numbers add up.
They certainly do. And if we look at this, we'll call it vicious cycle of inflation, let's talk about what's happening here. So we already know prices are continuing to stay high. Problem number one. Problem two related to that is in order to get inflation under control, the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates and probably will continue to do that for quite some time. Okay. Then number three, what we have here is an American public going deeper and deeper into debt to buy stuff. So it gets even more expensive beyond just the price tag because as Americans are borrowing, let's say, against their credit card, and with those interest rates going higher and higher, it's infinitely more expensive. So this is a really bad cycle that we're in, and hence why so many Americans are feeling really bad about the economy right now.
Yeah, the peak of inflation was about 9.1% in June of last year. It's at about 6.5% right now. The Fed's target level for inflation is back down to 2%. So that's quite a long way to go, Dan. Is that an overly ambitious goal from the Federal Reserve, 2% inflation?
Well, they have stayed very consistent in saying that that was the outcome they wanted to get to. Now, can they get there? Well, if we keep looking at quarter point raises along the line in order to achieve that outcome, it's going to take like 50 years to get there. So I think we have to be a little bit more realistic about one of two things. Either interest rates are going to have to be raised significantly higher, or we have to get more realistic in accepting inflation not being at 2%, but maybe settling in at 4 or 5. Either outcome in terms of interest rates going up or having high inflation is quite unacceptable.
Where do you see these rate hikes going? We got a lot of mixed messages from the Reserve. At first, there was rumors that they were going to cut off the rate hikes, and then it was, they're going to keep going, and then, they're going to keep going, but we're going to do them less often. How do you foresee the Federal Reserve acting to combat inflation in the coming months?
I don't see them changing course because they are not getting the results that they want to have related to the rate of inflation. It is not coming down. At best, it's staying relatively consistent, which is still not good. So if the only plan there is to raise interest rates, well, you know what? Interest rates are going to keep going up. So I would say that where we are now with the Fed, the next monthly meeting is going to produce another quarter to half point rise in the interest rate. And, that's going to inflict more pain on the American public and the American consumer.
Yeah, buckle up, everybody. We're far from done. Yeah, we're going to have to keep weathering this seemingly never-ending storm, Dan. One more thing that I want to get your comment on. Last week, Elon Musk met with California Governor Gavin Newsom to announce Tesla's new engineering headquarters in the state of California. This came as a surprise to many people that Elon would be moving business back in California, Dan. Can you maybe defend Elon Musk here if it's defendable? Why did he move business back into California, which has historically been not the best place to do business?
Not at all. And Elon Musk had moved his headquarters out of California down to Texas because there's a lot less regulations and they don't have an income tax, unlike California that has, if not the highest, the second highest tax rates in the country. So my guess here, because I was certainly surprised to see that as well, as there was some type of deal that was made in order for Elon to be able to get some favorable tax rates or some types of incentives to stay in California or to expand in California. So if he did that, good for him. That would prove, quite frankly, that in order to attract businesses or keep businesses in California, the state government is going to have to be a lot more willing to be flexible as opposed to vilifying everyone that's successful and vilifying corporations. That's just not the way to do business. To me, the people that pay you the most, those are your best customers. So if you look at the way a state operates, those who pay the most taxes, well, they're the ones that you want to keep happy because they're supporting the government.
Yep, they're the ones who bring in the dough, bring home the dough, so to speak. Dan Geltrude, America's Accountant, always great to have you on the show. Thanks for being back.
Thanks, Addison.